Cape Ann Report, and I'm your host, Maureen Aylward. Our topic, we're talking trash and litter in the city. And my guests are Melissa Cox, Gloucester Councilor At-Large, Patti Amaral, and you're with People Against Litter, and Donna Ardizzoni, and you're with 1 Hour at a Time gang.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to Cape Ann Report.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, we're going to talk some trash here.
We love
we're
talking trash.
talking
Yeah,
about
thing.
littering.
Why does it happen?
Our
and who
favorite
does that?
subject.
Your favorite subject.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the issues with litter, and I'm very curious about how it happens. So we know that people, the majority of people, don't do it on purpose. They don't litter on purpose, but yet there's trash around.
Terrible.
There's trash, caught in gutters. There's trash caught in hedges and on sidewalks, and we see it all the time. And some people do throw litter out the window on the highway. And so what do you think? Patti, let's start with you. What do you see, and what do you think about where the trash comes from?
Well, I think it's a multifaceted problem. I really don't think it's just one thing. It's just so many things, and it's hard to stop all of them. Like the overflowing dumpsters, the archaic recycling bin, the fact that people do litter. Cigarettes are a huge litter problem, and I just cleaned up Derby Street just before I came here, and there was hundreds of them. So, I'm not even sure what the answer is, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah, Donna, what do you see?
Cigarette butts are probably the #1 issue because people don't think of them as litter. And that is something we need to prevent and teach people not that it is litter. I had one gentleman say, well, I threw it down the drain. I'm like, that's even better.
I hear that a lot.
Meaning that they thought they were doing the right thing. So the
right,
education
right.
of litter, we have butt butlers all over the city. Use them. And I think that's a great prevention of the litter.
Melissa, what do you see?
I see it a lot in the neighborhoods, especially on trash day. There's a reason why we have 3 wind turbines in our city. It's very windy. So, if people could hold on to their trash, if they don't have a covered bin when it's windy out, even the slightest breeze, we've got very lightweight items in our recycling bin. So I would encourage people to purchase a covered bin and then not overflow it so the lid is secure. The trash guys are great about making sure the lid is tucked back in the barrel, or the one I have is a hinge lid. So it's great. I love it. It was best investment. I've had mine for probably 7 years now.
And they can't be that expensive.
They're really
Ace
not.
or,
Ace, and I'm looking at different avenues for some grants so we can maybe offset and work with a local business to offer discounts, plus offset with any grant that I can find.
So you've been collecting, Donna and Patti have been out there, and Melissa, I know you're part of the one hour at a time gang, and you're out there collecting trash. Are there places where you see a lot of trash on a regular basis in Gloucester?
Our open spaces, I'm on the open space committee too, and it just seems our open spaces, there's a lot of partying going on too. We clean the beach. I bet if I went to Good Harbor right now, I bet 60% of it would be alcohol. And that's huge. Even in the summer, it's huge too, because I feel like, okay, people are drinking, obviously, a lot, and then they're getting in their car. And so it's not even just a litter problem. Then you get into that problem of driving under and hurting somebody else. So.
Well, leaving things behind is like a social public issue, especially around here because we have the beaches, and people do leave all their trash on the beach.
They do leave their trashes.
What do you think? Is it just that they don't want to take it with them? Is it
They're
just
not
too
prepared,
convenient?
maybe, or maybe they're not
They don't want
prepared,
their parents to see what they have in the back seat.
Well, of course, if they're drinking heavily like that.
But even it's I see like Magnolia Avenue, which is such a pretty little, and there's just trash just everywhere. And then you have to try to get in where the bushes are and the poison ivy, and it becomes really difficult. And again, we have to go back to preventing people from just tossing that coffee cup out the window.
Yeah.
A few things that we've found on our cleanup, especially when we like hike into Dogtown, is there are some party spots back there. There was a lake area where we went and cleaned up one time too, and again another party area that's tucked way back. And when we find them, we notify the police department that there's potential there. We take pictures, document everything, try to figure out how many bags of trash that we took. We try to set aside the recycling versus there's the redemption cans that are not squished, and then there's the recycling, which is the cans that are squished, and then other. So, I mean, we've hiked out maybe 20, 30 bags in one cleanup.
Yeah, one
And
cleanup.
it's
Dogtown.
1 hour at a
Yes,
time,
Dogtown.
gang.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's 1 hour.
It's 1
of
hour.
maybe 10 or 15 people, if we're lucky, that go and pounce on these areas. And I mean, it's amazing what we find
Was
sometimes.
amazing.
Yeah.
So everybody can get involved in this.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Oh,
And
yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
can just do their part
Yeah.
by walking down the street and
Yeah.
picking up trash. Why do you think people don't pick up trash that they walk
Well, they
by?
probably think it like you were
It's
saying
dirty.
earlier, it's dirty and they don't have
Yeah.
a glove, and
Yeah.
we also, you have to be safe about picking up litter. It's not always a safe thing.
Yeah.
We have it with little children. We have cleanups with little children. We always tell the parent, you have to, be careful with the children because you never, glass, there's all kinds of things that can get hurt with.
And I think people are kind of germ phobic
Yeah.
sometimes, and
And who wants to do it? We'd rather plant flowers and have some fun.
Right.
Really, but we feel like we have to do this. It's just,
Yeah.
it's us.
But it's a great social
Yeah.
thing that we've done. I've met some wonderful people being part of the 1 hour at a time gang. There's people that just moved to Gloucester, found out about Donna's committee,
Yeah.
and signed up, joined us, and spent the entire summer coming and doing cleanups.
There's
And it
something
was just-
really wonderful about cleanup.
When
Not
you're
only
done,
the
it's
social, but
clean.
You've done it, it's clean. We all like to clean our
Yeah,
house.
it's
we
like, wow,
laugh.
we did this with our own 2 hands.
we feel better after we clean our house. I don't
Yeah,
really want
yeah.
to.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you feel better after picking up trash.
you do. You have more of a sense of accomplishment. And
Ownership.
you did something, and you're giving back.
Yeah.
And it's for everyone.
And it's for the,
Yeah.
the creatures of the ocean
Oh,
and
absolutely.
everybody, creatures who live in our city. That's what PAL is so good about, because PAL is People Against Litter, and it's just sign up to clean up just in front of your home, because it is daunting. I just was talking to my friend Stacy Dexter right before I came in here, and she does Thatcher Road, and she's like, Patty, it's incredible. And I'm going to meet her there tomorrow morning at 10, because it can be overwhelming.
You mean the
Can be
trash
So,
that you see is
If you
Yeah.
just say, okay, how if you just walk out your door and you just keep that clean out front of your door. And if you live at a condo or something, you can always come to Dogtown or the cemeteries. We can always use extra hands all the
Always.
time. Always.
In the-
We encourage you to come and join any of our organizations.
Because that goes back to what I always say, personal responsibility. If you own a shop on Main
love that.
Street or Washington Street,
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
just go out there and clean up the trash in front
Like
of
the
you.
North End with the little broom,
Yeah.
that it doesn't
Yeah.
take that much effort
Right.
to pick up in front of your own property.
So I want to go back to the NIPS issue. The little bottles of alcohol.
Yeah.
That people buy for multiple different reasons, but it's a serious problem statewide. And Melissa, this question is for you. What have you been doing in Gloucester around the NIP issue? It's been recently in the paper, and people might have heard about it.
Salem started the initiative. Basically, a city councilor was put together an order for the city council in Salem to sign and support, and they sent it into the State House. I contacted the Ward 1 city councilor there and borrowed the language, but when I put it forward to city council for support, I added the single-use water bottles, because we find them as equal amounts as the NIP
Yeah.
bottles.
You're seeing a lot of water bottles.
Water
and
bottles,
plastic
that's
water
another
bottles.
one.
Yeah.
It's probably the third most.
And then
It's another issue.
we,
Third most, yeah.
we brought it forward to city council. We signed the resolution. It's nothing that can be done individually for cities and towns. It has to be a statewide initiative.
okay.
So it's going to go to the State House, and we sent a copy to Anne Margaret Ferrante, Bruce Tarr, and the person that's moving the bill forward.
What kind of restrictions would be put on nips? Would they be banned altogether, or what could happen
Some
statewide?
communities have banned
I
them
think that's
altogether.
good. I think that's good.
What we did
do
with
too.
City Council, what we're supporting is a 5-cent redemption. I know that there's at least one city, town in Massachusetts that did a complete ban. I'm for that too. If we don't get anywhere with the state level, we need to take ownership of it on a Gloucester level.
Yeah.
And that to me is implementing a ban.
Do you think you'd get any pushback from businesses, or are you getting any pushback on businesses that sell the nips,
That's a good one.
liquor stores and such?
I personally have not received any communication from any business wanting to, discuss it. And I certainly, I want to be business friendly, but at the same time, we need to do more as humans to prevent plastic use in general. And to me, this is one of the bigger things that we see during our cleanups is nip bottles and single-use water bottles. I definitely don't want to ban single-use water bottles because we want encouragement to people to have access to clean drinking water
And hydrate themselves.
and hydration.
Right.
If we remove those from the shelves, I believe that people would go for the sodas and the juices first before they'd buy a 1-gallon bottle of water. So I can't see that being feasible in my mind. When we do cleanups and everything, we try to encourage people to use reusable bottles, and we try to, work that angle. But back to the nips. I've had several communities reach out to me to borrow our language for their city and town. So
That's awesome.
So it's spreading.
it is.
Yeah, and
It's
once it spreads, you can do the statewide.
really.
And
yeah.
this is part of the awareness building of
Yeah,
making
education.
Sure, yeah,
It's
education
key.
in these nips, and it's such a, why are people throwing them out the window? It's just, why are they? Well, because people
Single
don't,
use.
they don't want to. Yeah, there's single use.
Yeah, and plus
Right.
they're drinking and
Right.
driving, probably.
So the
get rid
plastics
of 'em.
ban has been. Melissa, did you want to say something else about that?
You could also get in trouble for having empty
Open-
nips in your
open container, yeah.
because it's open container. So I mean,
Right.
Lots of reasons.
I don't agree with throwing them out the window, but I can understand
Why
the,
people
the
wouldn't want to have them.
negativity of having them in the car as
Yeah,
well.
sure.
However, I drive around with a lot of nips in my car because I do cleanups. So it's just, I hope they know my history when they pull me over.
Indeed, you might have to have a little card.
Yeah,
Now, part of the,
Yeah, but car does
people
stink.
against litter, or people,
Yeah, our car stinks for a reason.
Yeah.
We're not drunk.
Yeah.
We just picked up.
Sorry.
So that's funny. The single-use ban around plastics has been in place in Gloucester specifically since January 1st?
January 1st.
Yeah.
Right, and so we're into it several months now, and how is it working? Like, I know
it's
that you're out there.
grand.
It's working?
Wonderful.
I see everybody with their bags in the grocery store. I'm so happy. I want to run up to them and say, give them a big hug. Thank you. Because really.
I actually do that.
I know.
I think
'Cause-
people
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't see them in the trees.
It's going to take probably a
it's
couple
gonna
years
take a
for us to
while.
eradicate it, but
Right.
You're not
hopefully we will.
seeing them hanging and stuck in trees.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, like you used to.
yeah, I know. I've been noticing that.
Yeah,
And Rockport's ban just went into place on March
Yeah.
1st.
right.
And then Danvers is in June because I went to the meat market and they were doing that. So they were June and people, they're not happy. This lady was talking about it. And I said, it's okay. You're going to be fine. You know what I mean? It will work out fine for you. We did it in Gloucester.
Right.
So I think people get scared of things, just like the carry in, carry out. Oh, I can't have a barrel for my stuff when I leave the beach. And people get panicked.
But that's worked out fine too.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, 18 years this year.
Well- Yeah.
18 years of my life. It's not perfect, and the city put barrels in the parking lot, which I'm very sad about. But, we continue on, you know what I mean, and to continue to educate.
It's
I
education.
think, I think
Yeah.
it's hard when you are coming from out of town to enjoy the beach or something like that, and you don't know all the rules, so you don't come prepared. But I do believe at the concession stands that there are bags available if you ask.
So we're talking about behavior change, which sometimes needs to be
Forced.
forced on you
Yes,
a little
which
bit.
is sad.
But with good policy,
Right.
a real change can be made. So we've seen really good
Yeah,
policies
yeah.
coming in on Cape Ann.
Gloucester's done great.
Yeah, Gloucester and Rockport, Manchester and Essex,
Yeah.
doing the bans. And there has been a shift in what's being out there for litter.
There's been a shift too in people wanting to know how to start a group, because I got calls from the western part of the state. Okay, from Auburn, so that's
They want us to come and help
They
them.
want to be.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I said, no, I
It's
said, I
can't
don't
go
go
that far."
inland. That's what I told them.
I don't go over the bridge.
Yeah, I don't go inland. But, I said, just start a group. You don't have to, it doesn't cost anything. You don't need a sponsor. You don't need permission. Just start a group.
Yeah, just
I would
start
just
it. You send-
encourage you to work with your local DPW.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how
Absolutely.
does that happen? So there are a lot of clubs, litter clubs in Gloucester, and I know that there are more, and I want to get to that. But what's the best way to work with the DPW when you start a litter club? So say there are some kids in Essex, or say the kids in Rockport who might want to start a cleanup, and there are those out there. But what do you think is the best way to connect with the DPW?
Well, for me, it's a little different because I'm a city councilor. Like, I would encourage you to go and talk to your city councilor and have them be the liaison between DPW, which is, the ultimate cleanup, and the supplier of the bags. So we have a good relationship with DPW. They know that we go out every Saturday morning from 8 to 9, and we advertise the location of the cleanup prior to, and then we either use See-Click-Fix to document where the
wonderful.
bags are,
Which is wonderful.
or we contact them directly
And
and
they
let
have
them
been
know.
terrific. On a Saturday,
Yeah.
they will come and pick up the bags.
That's great. So the DPW comes and picks up the yellow bags
bags.
Yeah. When they're full, yeah.
when they're full.
Yeah, you
And
let
there
them
were
know.
times that when we first started this, I would actually bring them.
Yeah, there's,
DPW,
and
yes,
it
yeah.
depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes, checking in advance, or they communicate with me and say, "Hey, we don't have anybody available."
Right.
I'll put the seats down in the back of my truck, put a tarp down, and put all the bags in. So,
So sometimes you have to do that.
yeah,
but
because
they're
it's better than just leaving them on the side of the road for a few days. Animals will get into the bags, and it
right.
turns
If you have any
into
food, then you're
another
doing it
piece of
all
trash.
over again.
Yeah, that would be,
Right.
we clean the same
yeah,
area.
that's the last thing.
But
you
our
want.
DPW, and I like to give them a shout out because they have been so cooperative, and they never moan. When I call them or see them, and I thank them. It's about thank you.
Well, that's a partnership.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So besides 1 hour at a time gang and people against litter, there is those are two. What are the other groups
The
in
Clean
town?
City
that are-
Commission.
The Clean City
This is
Commission.
government, and what else do we have?
Well, there's
Clean City
Keep-
Commission is an advisory board to the city. So
and the Clean City Initiative.
Yeah, that's me.
yeah,
that's
That
you.
was just
And
yeah.
there's Keep Massachusetts
beautiful, right?
Well,
right, right,
Melissa and I went to a summit at Endicott College on Saturday.
on my birthday.
It was eye-opening, and we've been collecting trash for a long time.
What did you
great.
What did you hear there that was eye opening?
One of the biggest things I heard was, unfortunately, this is a problem everywhere.
Yeah, that's
And
good
that
to know.
was the
Yeah.
unfortunate
that
thing.
actually made me feel better, though,
Me
because
too.
it's not just
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it made me feel sad, too, to think that the whole state, and this is just state, has issues, But there's movement, banning balloons, which is one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Non-smoking on the beaches, which now
We've
Gloucester has.
move forward with that.
Did you?
Yes,
It's
and
wonderful.
I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
On the playgrounds, it's again the prevention, the education, and if someone doesn't like it, I don't care.
Did you hear anything else at the conference that you want to implement in Gloucester
yeah.
that you haven't? Because this is advanced. I mean, Patty, you've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Donna,
yeah.
a long time. And Melissa, you've been involved in this, and this is one of your
long time.
issues,
Yeah.
right? As a city councilor. And so, what did you glean any new ideas about what to focus on?
So Keep Mass Beautiful is a part of Keep America Beautiful, and then they have a subdivision of that of the local. So we can start our own Keep Gloucester Beautiful initiative, and part of that belonging is sharing information, sharing initiatives, going after grants,
The grants and
bulk purchases, like the butlers and stuff. Those can be bulk purchased within the group. And it can cover multiple cities and towns, so we can get a better buying deal as well.
Yeah.
So Cape Ann collectively could also, participate in it?
Correct.
Different.
It was, there was a good representative from Gloucester at this summit, which I thought was terrific.
Right.
Because I think,
They
to be
wanted to
honest,
learn.
people were pretty impressed with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have so much going on to try to prevent stuff getting into our oceans and in our streams, and it's just...
I think Gloucester is one of the most creative groups as far as cleanups go as well. And our partnerships with private businesses are huge. One Ocean One Love sponsored a big cookout at their business after a cleanup last year. And it was great. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Food
Earth Day,
and the Coast Guard got involved. The gig rowers, they had a big cleanup, but they did it by boat.
That's
It was
awesome.
fabulous.
That's
We went
awesome.
and rowed around the harbor. We had grabbies and nets, and it was just, it's a unique environment that we have, and
We always have.
That's what we got.
multi-terrain. And so it was neat to see the different groups getting involved with cleanups. It was really amazing.
Yeah, it's nice that everyone has a different touch to it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? This is 1 hour, and people's
Right.
asking people just in front of their house. And
Right.
Right.
We just
Yeah.
come up with the awesome things.
Yeah, it's engagement. It's
Yeah,
engagement
it's
on
engagement.
multi-level.
It's always, and it's continuous.
And it's to change that stigma of trash.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, yes, it's negative, but there's also some serious positive aspects of it where, Patti, for example, when we did a cleanup at the cemetery, and then that got me thinking about what are we doing to prevent this happening in our cemetery. So I worked with the city to create a cemetery committee, and now Patti's on that committee.
With
so
Sandy, Barry,
I-
and Carol, and they're all awesome.
Yeah.
Wicked hard working
And
people.
they hire goats. Well, one of
Yeah.
the,
Oh,
they have
yeah.
goats to eat the poison ivy.
Yeah.
yeah.
because
And then you can see the trash that's underneath the poison ivy that you can't get to, so you're plugging that out.
And it's led to the restoration of the cemeteries and better management of the cemeteries.
And this all came from just being in the cemetery to clean
Picking
up
up a
trash.
party
Yeah.
spot, a huge
Yeah.
party spot.
yeah,
me,
they
a
actually
huge
used
party spot.
headstones as part of a fire pit. Like,
Yeah.
we were
I know,
beside
so much,
ourselves.
there's,
dear.
there's still so much glass. It's not like it's over.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So,
The clocks
so is
do a
it
lot
young
of work,
people, partying in these spaces and leaving all their things
Well, it's
there?
every, like
idea.
I said,
So-
multifaceted. Like I think our ordinance really need to be tighter. And I think I read you talking about that, Melissa, in the paper. And I really think it's important. Like, I live over by the Emerald Forest, a wetland I've been cleaning for 18 years. And the dumpsters are overflowing. And I went to the Board of Health and I showed them the pictures. And it seems like at that point it stops. And so the dumpster's still overflowing. It's all coming out from McDonald's and from the car wash. And so we have to really, try to work on that too, to,
Yeah.
really enforce that. I know, we're not going to find people throwing the stuff out the window because I'm looking all the time. I'm down like this. Go ahead, throw that cigarette out. I'm waiting for you. But you know what? Then they don't do it. So I really don't think it's the police's thing, the DPW. It's really it's us. We're going to have to be the one.
We need
Right.
to police ourselves. And so
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the Shaw's parking lot one day, and some kids come out of the grocery store with ice cream cones, and they unwrap it and they throw it on the ground. And I open the door and I'm like, I think you dropped something.
yeah, that's what you say.
And she's
yeah.
like, oh, yeah. So, and I
And
mean,
they went and picked it up.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
Not always.
a little public shaming,
Yeah.
little public shaming.
Well, there was a little bit of that a couple of years ago where folks were dumping in a spot down on Condolin Road, right?
Yep.
And taking pictures and then finding out who's doing it.
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It's
We'll do
very
that.
important.
I go through trash bags.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no problem
People
with
who
that.
like throw their trash and
Yeah.
they don't want to. If they
Or
have
someone who had granite top they threw it in Magnolia Woods. They put it on Facebook. Someone said, "I know who that is."
Oh,
there's no getting around it in a small community.
Facebook has really made it. Like when I started this 20 years ago, it was just picking up the playground area, and that's what you did, and that's what I did. But with Facebook, there's a lot.
You gotta be
there's a lot.
careful.
You gotta be watching what you're doing, people.
You can't brag about a home renovation and then go dump your
Right, yeah. Throw
trash.
your sink out.
So how do we empower people to make that next step? So trash is something that bothers everyone. I mean, honestly, when you see it, it bothers you. You know it's not supposed to be there. But how do we get people to take that extra step? What do you think are some good positive tips?
I think what we have to do is go to the education. And what happened to the fining of people who used to litter? when I was a kid, you got fined. And my mother would have given me one of these, and we never littered. That was just not, it didn't happen. But the commercials of give a hoot, don't pollute, that really, and the Native Americans standing there with the
that's a
tear.
sad cheer.
That,
We should bring
and
the
it's
Indian back.
still happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
I
happening.
don't, so it is education. We need to teach the parents to teach the
Kids, yeah, that works out a lot.
There are a lot of initiatives. Ainsley Smith from the Clean City Commission, she does a lot with the schools, working with DPW, and gets into the schools to do education.
With the
Just a
kids,
couple
yeah.
weeks ago, they did a huge recycling education, and they were able to reuse some of the stuff and make them into art projects. So it
Right.
was great.
What's that called? Simply Smart?
I don't know.
Change is simple.
Change is
No,
simple.
that's
Change is simple.
Yeah,
Well,
we
that's-
met- that's
yeah.
another group, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
That's another group that does
Oh, okay.
school
Oh, that's
work.
not the
yeah.
same group.
No, this was something that
Okay.
Ainsley had partnered with DPW
Wonderful.
on. And then learning more about recycling, like I didn't know that you could only recycle things for a limited amount of time. So yogurt containers that say I'm in a recycled container, well, their lifespan might be done. You may not be able to recycle that. Nips, they're too small for our trash hauler to process.
So they won't recycle them.
Right. So
Plus, China's not taking our recycling anymore.
yeah, so
It's a huge
we
thing.
have to work harder on prevention and refusing to accept plastics. A friend of mine got a little medicated tube of lip gloss or something, and the package was this big. And I was like, oh my God, could you just put it in a little paper tube and it's completely recyclable?
And to advocate for packaging reform
Right.
really is
Yeah,
what's
yeah, that's really
necessary.
big.
Right.
And new materials to be used in packaging.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've seen with the plastic bag ban and the polystyrene ban is, I've got the nickname of the banner in a lot of
Congratulations.
groups. I know.
That's great.
And I don't want to have to take those initiatives, but through those, it's opened our eyes to straws. So, and the danger of straws. And
Yeah.
it's like a little
Save the
plastic tube.
turtles.
You would think,
Right.
what could go wrong?
Right. Well, Rockport bans straws.
Right.
That was a good
But-
initiative, yes.
In all the restaurants in Gloucester, I do not get one with my water anymore.
Never.
They
Never.
ask
Say
you
no
if
to
you want
straws.
one.
Yeah,
So businesses
the
are taking
changes
part.
are
Yeah.
happening.
Right, people
Changes
are
are
taking
happening.
part. Changes are happening.
But you
There's a
teach people
movement.
too. Like I went to 99 and she gave me a straw. I said, "Oh no, I didn't catch you." And she said, "Oh," I said, "How if you say that to people next time? How if you ask them, do you want the straw?"
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
Melissa said,
Yeah.
if we could do that, that's huge.
Or you pull your own
That's
out of
just
your
it, is that
pocketbook.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
we
want
didn't
Yeah,
have
use
to
your
move
own.
forward with a ban.
Right.
Like people are taking it upon themselves and they're learning. And I think because of the first two bans, that they
Yeah,
moved
things are
forward with
starting
that.
to things are starting to change, which is
Yeah.
great. Well, Melissa Cox, thanks for being with us. Patti Amaral and Donna Ardizzoni.
Thank
It's been
you.
fun talking trash
Oh,
with
we
you.
love talking
We
trash.
love
talking trash.
It was really fun. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Maureen Aylward. Check us out on social media. Until the next time on Cape Ann Report, take care.
Thank you.